Sky Media Day was just yesterday, and so we're going to talk about some of the details and things coming out of Media Day from the players and the coach, specifically Coach Weatherspoon. We're also going to look at how Kamilla Cardoso's injury is really going to affect the Chicago Sky at the start of the season. All that, plus Candace Parker, the new president at Adidas. We're going to talk about all that and more right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. I'm the host here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. And so, shout out to Steve-O. Steve-O would have been on this episode. It's not his fault. I had to sneak in this episode recording between my actual job. Shh, don't tell them. So me and Steve-O weren't able to coordinate a time. It's on me, not Steve-O. So I want to be clear that I had to get this in where I can. But me and Steve-O will be back together at least on Monday after cut day, but probably before then. You probably see us at least once over the weekend. But Chicago Sky had their media day yesterday, and I talked about the fact that the Chicago Sky did not have a media day when every other team in the WNBA had their media day, and even with that, it was kind of lackluster in the sense like they took questions on Twitter. Angel Reese did sit down and have a press conference of sorts, right? Teresa Weatherspoon did as well too, but it really kind of wasn't the event that I know a lot of fans were really like. We still have not had that event where it really feels like new Chicago Sky fans, have really gotten a chance to like learn all the team members and things like that. So, that's something that the Chicago Sky media team can it drops the ball on, just to be 100% honest. But with that said, we do know some things coming out of that, and Teresa Weatherspoon's mindset of this team is going to be the thing that really determines, I think, a lot of the edge and the identity of what this team has, while the players are establishing themselves in Angel Reese, Kamilla Cardoso, and veterans like Dana Evans and Marina Mabry are really kind of figuring out on the court together. When you look at Teresa Weatherspoon, 7 months since she's got hired as the coach. In that time, she's been touring Chicago to learn the city truly. She's gone to the Team USA camp in February. She's gone all over the place while the Chicago Sky players were playing overseas. She spent some individual time learning those players, which helped when you look at like kind of already the chemistry that they have. It's not only just the respect and admiration they have for Teresa Weatherspoon, but it's also the fact that she went overseas to meet with those players and to spend some really good time with it. And that's something that you really feel. Marina Mabry, for example, saying this: she has a really good balance of being a player's coach, giving you confidence, but then also setting a standard of what she expects from you. She makes it easy to show up and do your job because she's going to put you in good positions and she's going to bring that energy. Really, you just have to match it. And that, for anybody who has played sports before at any level, if you have an intense coach that also empowers their players, it does build that identity. And you see that, right? You saw that in the game against the New York Liberty, where the Chicago Sky had a lead in that game, and Teresa Weatherspoon was still barking at the sidelines, being upset about missed defensive rotations. That's the standard how you set an expectation for your team and a certain level of play that's expected by them. So listen, it's amazing to see just what Teresa Weatherspoon is bringing to this team. When you look at what she's gone through herself, playing in college, playing in the WNBA, all those things. When you see Teresa Weatherspoon, you see somebody who's a competitor, you see somebody who has that fighting spirit, and you see somebody who got that dog in them. So when this team learns to develop that, that's not something you take lightly. And Kennedy Carter as well, really echoing that. She's talking about how she can be her. Said this: honestly, it's crazy to be out of the league and then be somewhere where you're wanted, loved, and appreciated. This moment is a little bit surreal. Sitting out 6 months, seeing myself come back to Chicago, come here and be embraced and show my talent. It's amazing. I wasn't able to be me in a lot of places. And that again goes towards Teresa Weatherspoon empowering these players. And that is what you want to see from a new team that's just come together, that is really trying to establish not only their play style, but their identity and the new face of the franchise. And so Kennedy Carter is going to be one of those players, her and Dana Evans, that are really going to man that point guard position. And they're going to be extensions of that coach. And you look at Kennedy. Kennedy is somebody who, in the two preseason games, small sample size, but you see that she's engaged. She's not taking this lightly, and she understands now, because of having to sit out, how quickly and easily this can be taken away from you. And that dog and that chip she got on her shoulder as well is going to help build the identity of this team hugely as well. And so roster cut down day is approaching on Monday, which we kind of already talked about. But it really does seem like we kind of know that like Kennedy Carter's going to make the roster. Brenda Maxwell, I think, is going to make the final roster as well. We'll see what happens to that. But then, for her own words, Coach Witherspoon saying this: "I want them to be able to learn. I want to know them as a person. It's important for me to have a relationship with each player. I want to know what makes you go and what your whys are. It makes it easier for me to keep you there to hold you accountable to it." Again, things that I love. Are those a little bit rah-rah-y and things like that? Abso-freaking-lutely. But you love to see it. Now, player that a lot of people are looking and having high expectations for, especially after Angel Reese did not back down from Breonna Stewart in that New York Liberty game. Angel Reese continues to talk about how happy she is to be here in Chicago. She also keeps talking about how she understands how she needs to work, develop her game, and it's not going to be easy for her. And that's something that I personally love from Angel Reese, because it'd be very easy for Angel Reese to come in here with everything that she's accomplished in college basketball and just be that player that kind of, it seems like it comes easy to her. And Angel, while it does look like it comes easy to Angel Reese in several degrees, she has the mindset that you're seeing that she's going to continue to just work and work and work and work on her game. And I love to see that from Angel Reese. Angel Reese, one of the pillars of this new team, and I keep using that word to describe it because we're building it off of two amazing ladies in Angel Reese and Kamilla Cardoso, who are going to be the pillars of this team going forward. Yeah, we got great players. Dana Evans, dog. Marina Mabry, dog. Diamond DeShields has dealt with more adversity than almost anybody else currently in the WNBA just to be on the floor. We got veterans in Elizabeth Williams, Isabel Harrison as well, who are going to help support those youngsters, and they're going to play a lot of minutes themselves. This is a team now that we are looking for the formation of potentially a true culture and a team that's a core that's going to be together for, we're hoping, years and years and years and years to come. I personally hope Angel Reese never wears another jersey. Let her live and retire a member of the Chicago Sky. She's already ingratiating herself to the Chicago culture, which is another thing that she did talk about in her presser. But you really get the fact of all the haters around Angel Reese because of her cockiness on the court and things like that. Like I said, I can't speak for anyone else or anything, but I can speak for the fact that this is a young lady who she wants to be successful. She doesn't just look at it as success is just old to her. She wants to be successful through how she performs and what her skill set is. And she's also talked a lot about the development of her skill set and how she wants to get back to doing some things on the wing that she did in high school and things like that. And that's how you know that she's going to maximize her potential, and got to give love up for that. And now with Kamilla Cardoso out, Angel Reese is probably going to start, right? And so with that said, we're going to see very early on how she grows and goes through the adversity and things like that. But all the doubt and stuff that gets thrown to this young lady, it really at some point just becomes disgusting, because when you just take her for who she is, not just looking at the antics on the court, which again, us in Chicago, I don't think too many people have a problem with players with edge and that are competing, that talk shit, right? No, do that. But as long as that comes via you giving everything on the court, people are going to love Angel Reese, man. And everything that I've seen, everything that I hear from her just solidifies that fact. She's about to be an amazing player for this Chicago Sky team, and people need to be aware of that. And Kamilla Cardoso as well, right? She is going to be another amazing piece for this team. And while is she a little bit more humble than Angel Reese? It comes off that way. I think Angel Reese has a lot of humility in what I've seen her talk to, but she's a little bit more quiet, a little bit more reserved, but she's a fierce competitor on that court. And make no mistake about it, when she does get back in that game, it's going to make the game that much easier. So, and that's a big thing with this, is with the injury to Kamilla Cardoso, how is that going to impact the Chicago Sky start of the season? And here's what I'll say to that. The Sky are a team that are built to weather injuries to players in the post. When you look at what we have there, Angel Reese, Oni Werday, Isabel Harrison, Elizabeth Williams, these are all players that can play either the 4 or the 5 position, and we're going to have enough down there, right? They all are competitors, right? So, and then you have Angel Reese and what her and Elizabeth Williams can do defensively. And don't overlook what Isabel Harrison brings defensively with rim protection and rebounding as well. So we're set to weather that storm. But when Kamilla Cardoso comes back, it's going to make that defense so much more. And listen, I get it. She has a surgery injury. She can't do like everything, but she's still going to be working on her conditioning. She's still going to be learning the playbook. She's still going to be doing all those things. And by time she does come back after missing a month to start the season, if not a little bit more, Angel Reese is going to be over that curve, right? So she's going to be able to come in and they're going to be able to support each other better. And so, listen, it sucks that we lost, that we're going to not have Kamilla Cardoso and Brenda Maxwell, for that matter, to start off this season. But these are ladies that you got to trust how they compete. And I think that they're going to show and turn a lot of heads. And I love the fact of just what we're building here with the Chicago Sky. So, really good thoughts, really good place that I feel like this team is in right now as well. I love what we have here. I love the foundation. I love the aura around the team, the energy around the team. Coach Witherspoon really setting that expectation. And then you even got to look at a player like Dana Evans, right, whose jersey sold out for the first time in her career. And yeah, that comes through the new attention on the team. And like I say try to say with every episode, if you're new to a Sky fan, I don't care if you're coming from LSU, if you're coming from being a Gamecocks fan, wherever you're coming from, we welcome you. And hopefully that this show can be a place where we call it the number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related, because we truly love the Sky. We've been here before the Angel Reese draft, right? This is our third season now covering this team, and it's out of nothing but pure love and admiration for the ladies that we have here in this franchise. So if you're new, welcome. Hey, I know you guys are going to have your own discourse in the comment section, but we welcome you guys, and we're glad to have you in the building. Now, so with that said, those thoughts from Media Day kind of out of the way, let's get into go around the W. It's just two topics from around the W I want to get into with this one. Candace Parker was named as the president of the women's basketball division of Adidas. This is big. And she said this. I said to Adidas, I don't want to be a mascot. I really want to be in meetings. I really want to be a part of making decisions. And that doesn't surprise me. If you know Candace Parker, you know she's not anybody to just sit around and not be a part of making decisions. So with that said, they're going to be going out and trying to find athletes to be part of this new division. And so, she's going to collaborate on creating that brand and also helping determine which women athletes are going to be part of that brand. Could that be some members of the Chicago Sky? We'll see. Dana Evans is already a member of Team Jordan, so it is what it is there. But it's good. I think with the new notice around women's basketball is that you're going to see more women with signature shoes. I think this division is probably going to start off with like maybe one or two shoes, and it's kind of the brand as a whole with the athletes that they signed to be representative of it is just going to kind of market it. But don't be surprised as it breaks apart and more women get their individual shoe deals. And I think that that's a great thing. That's growing the league, right? And that's helping getting more eyes as well on the W. So shout out to Candace Parker, who just retired and already knows the next job that she's going to be after and the next mountain she's going to have to climb. Shout out to her. And then before we go, one of the things that have always popped up with WNBA is chartered flights. And so Kathy Engelberg announced on Tuesday that the league is nearing a solution that will allow for charter travel for all WNBA regular season games. This is huge. This is huge. And, she talked about how the fact that, it's not something that they could have gotten it done for just one season, but what they were trying to do is to find something that's sustainable for years into basically perpetuity for the league. And that does take a little bit longer. And so, yes, are they a little bit behind with that? Hell yeah. Well, we had the incident with Brittany Griner last year in a public fight and somebody kind of accosting her and bothering her. So, getting chartered flights for this team, this is another big step in the league. We know that the new CBA is going to be big for that as well. And so finding out that the more are going to get those chartered flights, I think that's going to be really good for the W so that these ladies can focus on one of the things that they need to do. And that's just, playing basketball. One less thing on. And we talked about last season where there are a lot of WNBA teams that had to sleep in the airport waiting for their next flight. That's unacceptable to me for professional athletes. So to find that the WNBA is trying to find a solution to that, I think is the right thing. But you guys can let me know what you guys think down below. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Chicago Sky Central. Make sure you guys are following the show at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, Chicago Sky Central at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for mailbag episodes, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. Thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Sky. And I'll see you guys next time we go to Skytown. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.